I just got the Blurb books back. They just arrived, and so we're going to open them. I'm super excited about this. So let's take a look at what we have. Now remember, I made two different types of books. I made a layflat book, which is this big one. So I made a big version of the book, and then I made a companion book that was called a trade book. So the layflat book is a photo book, and the trade book. So I'm going to open the layflat book first because it's bigger. So let's just open this up. I love opening a book. Books are the greatest. You can see that I've displayed a whole set of books here. This is actually just the latest books that I've created for clients. So this whole section here is a segment of books that I did for a wedding. So these are all proof books, duplicates for different people in the family. So parent book type stuff. And then I've got another set here. So this is another wedding and this is another wedding. So just in the last couple months, these are the books that I've produced. So I love books. And there we are. All right, we'll toss this. Don't need that. Yes, here she is. Along with a card with a little discount on it. I always save those because I always need the discount. There she is. All right, let's take a look at her. Oh, that looks pretty. Let's get this wrapper off of it. So here's the book. It's awesome. Looks great. I love that logo on it, the 0 degrees, the title. I love the Jared Platt. The text always looks really good. It's just a fantastic looking book. And you remember that we reversed this image so that the back would have like the long, big portion of the mountain, and then the front could have kind of this fall off on the mountain at the edge so that there was something interesting. Plus, because the title was going to go over here in the top right-hand corner, it allowed for some space for it. I love how the line goes across the edge there. It's just a really nice graphic look on that top right-hand corner. So I love the way the cover looks. Well, it's got the sticker on it. Let's peel the sticker off. There we go. Now we got a truly beautiful book. So let's open it up. Let's see what it looks like inside. I'm going to open this guy up just to whatever. Yeah, the prints look beautiful. You can see that this paper has a little bit of a sheen to it. So as I tilt it, you can see that there's a bit of a sheen. So it's not a kind of fibrous paper. It's more of a kind of semi-glossish type of paper. So there is a sheen to it. But the beauty of this is that there's no gutter. And so far we've only seen pictures that are up to the gutter. But in a second here, we're going to find, there we go. So there's the cover picture. But you can see that we don't lose anything in that gutter, which is really great, especially for like a portrait book or a wedding book or something like that. You don't want to lose something in the gutter. And so this is a perfect style of book for that kind of thing. And you can fit quite a lot of images in this book. So this is like 100 and something pages, as I recall. And so it's a decently large book, but it's still not super thick. I mean, that's not super thick. And it's not really heavy necessarily. So it's not like, you know, producing a big album or something like that, which is what you normally would have to do if you were doing some kind of a one-off book, is you usually have to go in an album maker. But this is just fantastic. I love it. Printing is good. The blacks are good. The whites are good. It's just such excellent printing. Printing that you would expect to cost a lot more money than what you're paying for just a one-off book. The photo books are a little bit more expensive, but this lay flat option is so perfect because you never lose anything. There's no negative side to putting something across in a double truck kind of feel. So let's take a look at the way this is designed so you get a sense of how a lay flat book spine is designed. So when you open it up and look, you can see that it's one page that comes across and bends in the center right there at the spine or in the gutter, and then it comes this way. So that's all one page. But then there's some kind of a substrate right in the middle of it, and then it's pasted upon itself, and then the next page folds as well. So it's just constant folded pages, and that's what creates the hinge. So it's an ingenious little design, but the greatest thing about a lay flat book is that you can have these glorious double truck spreads and there's no negative side to it because you get to see the entire image no matter what's on the image. And of course, these are great for weddings and portraits and things like that, which I use them for all the time, because you can do an entire like family photo or group photo across the spread, and even if someone gets really close to that line, you don't lose them inside the gutter. And I don't ever want to put anything really important across that line like a face, but it's okay to get really, really, really close to that line and there'll be no problem with it. Whereas if you have a book with a gutter, you could actually lose the person inside of the gutter. And so that's the beauty of a lay flat book. But this looks fantastic. Super happy with this. So let's set this to the side and let's open up our next book, which is the companion book. And this one will have a gutter in it. This is what we call a trade book. So let's just open up this trade book here. There we are. Love it. See that? The companion book. So it's got a little bit of a glossy cover on it. You can see as I tilt it, it has a bit of a sheen to it. See that? It's probably a little glossier even. So if we look at the interior pages of this book, they're not super glossy. They're kind of a semi-gloss. You can see that there's just a little bit of a sheen to it. And then when you look at the cover of the trade book, but the cover of a trade book actually has that gloss on it. The interior pages are quite matte, which I love. I actually really, really love the paper on the interior of a trade book. The cover is just quite glossy. I wish they would do some kind of a matte cover for it. You can do a trade book. So this is a trade book here, and it's got a much more matte-ish type of cover. So this is a trade book. It's got a matte interior page, and it's got a kind of matte, almost like a velvety page or cover. The problem is that that only happens when you do a hardcover book. So if you're going to do a soft cover trade book, you're going to have this kind of glossy cover to it. Hopefully someday they'll give us another option. There's that sticker. Let me get rid of that sticker. Now notice that it has the ISBN barcode number on the back of it. That is always going to be there. You can put your own on there, but I always just let Blurb make one for me. It's free to put it together, so that's just always going to be there. So either design your book around it or just have to deal with the fact that it's there. But let's take a look at that. I love it. So when I compare a lay flat book to a book that has a gutter, there is quite a difference, and you have to really pay attention to that difference. So you can see here that the image goes across the gutter, and there's quite a distance between the two pillars on the bridge. But then when I open it up inside of the trade book, you can see that the gutter actually collapses the photo just a little bit, which is why in most cases when I'm designing, I'm actually trying to do a page on the right, a page on the left, or a photo on the right and a photo on the left, and putting some text over here in a photo, because most of the time you lose a lot in that gutter. But I don't feel like that ruins that photograph by losing a little bit, because it is such an empty photograph. It's so vacant. So I don't mind it going across the gutter to some degree. But most cases you'll see that I'm designing this without it. But again, there's another one where I don't think I lose very much in that gutter, and so it gives me a nice huge photograph to look at. Again, this book is meant to be a companion. It's meant to tell a story, and it's meant to be something that I can just give away, or I can sell for a very limited price, or I can give it away with the book itself. So if someone gets this book, they get the companion book that has some stories about the making of those images. So I love the idea of a trade book. I love how inexpensive they are. They do have a gutter, but that gutter can usually be worked around. And depending on how big you make the book, the gutter becomes less intrusive the bigger the book gets. So if you did a book with a gutter that was this size, that was 12 by 12, you wouldn't have as much of a percentage of loss inside of the gutter. Whereas when you do a smaller book, you lose a little bit more in the gutter, because the gutter is a higher percentage of the spread, if that makes sense. So when you're designing these books, make sure you keep in mind that gutter when you're designing something for a book that's not lay flat, that has a gutter. And so all of these trade books do. But look at the beauty of that print. I mean, that is just a beautiful page. The printing is so great on these trade books. You never really lose any blacks. You never really, I mean, it is, I love the printing on these books. So I am absolutely in love with the printing job on this book. I think that they did a great job. I love the lay flat option in the art book, and I love the companion book. I love how small it is. It's always such great printing in the trade book. It's amazing to me that you can get a book for such a cheap price that has such beautiful printing in it. So I'm never afraid to make a trade book. I always know it's going to come out just right. So anyway, I'm super happy with that. I'm going to continue to work on this project to make sure that this companion book is full of great advice and great ideas for photographers. And then I'm also going to be working continually on my notes project, because that's an ongoing project. And I'm very excited about that. And so, and while I'm doing all that, I'm always going to be continually producing books for my clients in the form of proof books or story books. And so I'm constantly making Blurb books, and I'm so glad that they exist. So thank you, Blurb, great job. And I hope you guys enjoyed the process of making these books with me. And so get out there and make your own books. It's really easy. You can use a lot of different tools to do it, whether it's InDesign or Lightroom or Bookright. It's very easy to make a book. So just jump in there, choose your tool, and start making books.